RSL Nation! Welcome back to the Bros. We're back.
Episode 62. Welcome back, everybody.
I
We're
hope you're
7
right.
away.
It's 7. That's really funny. Guys, there's my heart rate has come back to normal. I'm feeling a little bit better after the past 2 games.
I lost
Yeah,
stress weight this week.
Oh, congrats!
Oof.
How much?
Thank you. That was like 3 pounds.
Oh gosh,
Nothing.
that's a lot of stress.
Ugh,
Uh-huh.
Yeah, everybody follow Christian's pattern if you want to lose weight starting now.
Start
yes.
stressing.
Stress and anxiety is the way to go.
But yeah,
me with bad heart problems. These past few games have not been good watching.
oh yeah, we don't want to have another open heart surgery with you.
No.
No.
So, yeah,
No.
it's been a roller coaster of the past few games.
Yeah, we're gonna go over all of that, but first, Christian, we're gonna put you in charge of shout outs because you had a lot
Oh
of them.
man.
Yeah, and so you go through all the shout outs that you can remember, and Marcos,
Ooh,
you fill
ooh.
in if he can't remember one.
Yeah, take it away, Christian.
All right. So first, want to shout out. Got a couple of notable graduates from high school this week, graduating from RSL Academy, including Jude Wellings and Fidel Barajas. But congrats to all of them. Also, definitely want to shout out Julio for his banger of a goal, that one goal of the week. I mean, woo,
Yes.
that was fantastic. Obviously, Andres Gomez, our brother,
Our brother.
dude. Sigue adelante, bro. And honestly, not RSL, but still in the RSL family. Lauren Flynn, you wonderful defender. Way to go with the NWSL save of the week.
Heck yeah.
Seriously,
Absolutely.
that was world class, no matter what league you're in.
That's awesome. That's a lot of spotlighting, and I think we might have missed like a couple of them. Marcos, did we miss
Yeah.
any?
Well, there's a few other high school graduates, but
Oh,
all in all,
okay.
congratulations to all those high school graduates. You accomplished that.
You did it.
You accomplished that journey of school.
Funny thing that you should mention that. So, Trey did tweet out just a little bit ago that apparently Barajas flew in at 3 a.m. Graduation was at 10 a.m.
Oh,
So that's a rough professional life.
oh, that poor
Welcome
soul.
to adulthood. Lack
and
of
then he has to sit-
sleep. There you go.
And then he has to sit through a 2-hour graduation. Oh man.
Man, I bet he was sleeping. I would be. Let's
Yeah.
so we have a lot to get over. Or go over because a lot happened. Guys, we're gonna go through the Dallas game. We're gonna get all your guys' opinions because I know you guys have opinions, hardcore opinions. Then we'll go over Seattle, and then we're gonna go over a bit of the Luna situation because we're gonna give our side. And then we'll do a preview for the Austin game coming this Saturday. Does that sound good?
Let's do it.
Okay, Marcos, get us into what you thought of the lineup against Dallas.
Yeah, lineup is what we've seen all season. The only change really was obviously Vera. He picked up that back spasm during the week, so we had to bring in Quinton. So it was something we've seen already this season with Glad and Quinton. It worked once. I believe it was the Chicago game, right?
Yep.
Yeah, Chicago game. So I was not too worried because we won there. So I was like, we can do it again.
But it was against Chicago.
It was against Chicago. That's right.
Christian, what are your thoughts?
I think a lot of our predictions came true, especially talking about potential weaknesses in just stamina and in the back line. I talked about how I thought Dallas would take advantage of a tired back line and try to press and attack more, and they did. They took advantage of it. And obviously, there were some clear mistakes on the back end. Zach did not have a good game, and which is disappointing because he's been so stalwart for us over the years, and he's starting to get older and showing signs of mistakes. And so
Let's talk about that a little
but
bit. So with Zach making so many mistakes, I mean, we already know what the score ended up being, but having 3 goals let in, and then a couple, and this kind of bleeds over from the Colorado game too,
Mhm.
where he was so far up, and then the pass, or the not the pass back, the shot being so far out. It's like, what the heck was he thinking? We talked about it last episode where one of the coaches had told him, or no, Pablo had told him, stay back, stay back.
Mhm.
Do you think that Colorado game affected Zach in this game?
I would say a little bit, but you look at that first goal in 45th minute right before halftime, and I think it was one of those Zach couldn't decide if he wanted to punch it, catch it, and at the last minute he couldn't make up his mind, so he ball went right through his hands. So I like, yes, we were upset these past 2 games, but we need to realize that all these players, they do make mistakes, but I think it's just because the goalie, he's the man of the goal. I think all of these focus is on him. That's why.
Hmm.
Well, keeper is such a thankless position a lot of the time. If a
Yeah.
Let's be honest, if a keeper is doing a good job, you're not really going to notice them too much until they have to really make those big saves, which they get a moment of praise and then they just kind of disappear into the background again. But at the same time, if they make a mistake, suddenly they're on everybody's hit list. There's a big target on them. Suddenly everyone's like, wow, this person sucks. What are they doing? Don't
Yeah.
they know they're supposed to stop the ball? And
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
in these moments, especially, yeah, Zach had a bad game, and now a lot of people are calling for him to lose the starting position. I think that's a little bit of an overreaction. What I think this is showing, though, is that we've got good depth in our keeper field, and that either Zach or Gavin can start. And so I know we're going to talk a little bit down the road about Gavin getting called up to the U19 team. I'm not too worried because Zach is still a great keeper,
Hmm.
and
Yeah.
he'll make sure we're covered.
Yeah,
So,
Zach has been clutch all season. Like, he's had plenty of saves, which should have been goal save of the weeks in my opinion. So we can't just base his whole resume off of these past 2 games. I think we he needs to just pick his head up and realize that mistakes happen because we have a solid goalkeeping coach in Mirza,
Mhm.
solid backup in Beavers, which is still young. So I have nothing to worry about.
yeah, it was an off game, and the fact that we literally almost lost the game within 15 minutes, because
Hmm.
outside of the last 5 of the first half and the first 15 of the second half, we were doing just fine, I think. I don't know.
Yeah,
What do you
we
think?
we were we were very dominant, controlling, had more XG in that first half. Just wondering why we're not finishing on those chances. It's going to the Colorado game, and then of course in this Dallas game, we can't score first. It's just kind of that story that's been happening past couple games.
I
Yeah,
think this team is learning what it means to be an elite team, not just an MLS, but overall, and how consistency needs to provide results.
yeah.
And
Yeah.
and even momentary lapses in playmaking can lead to that line, that score line that we saw. It's not just on Zach. It can't all be just on Zach. I mean, taking a look at how our midfield is just in our back line, we're just kind of meh.
Hmm.
And meh leads to 3-3 draws.
Yeah, and I think if I'm not mistaken, it was Weeby or Question was saying that everyone now has to consider RSL as elite. We have to judge them on being elite and not just a good team right now because of how well we've started off. Because we have the leading goal scorer in the league. Because we have 2 players in Chicho and Gomez who are just on fire with all their goal contributions, goals and assists.
Hmm.
So, this game, I guess when the scoreline was at 3-0, what were your guys' thoughts, Christian?
I mean, what's the natural reaction in a situation like that? Natural reaction is, well, we're cooked. That's it. We're done.
Well,
Because
because before we would have parked the bus at this
Oh
point. We'd
yeah.
have been like, whatever.
Yep.
mhm.
Marcos,
And
sorry.
Yeah. I was watching with everybody at Kaye, and I remember 3-0. I'm like, game's over. I should just walk out. There was actually a few people at Kaye that just walked out and left. And right as RSL scored that second goal, I'm like, they are probably regretting that at this point now.
Yeah. I mean, Christian, maybe just go a little bit further. Um, Before we used to think that Pablo's strategy was to just like throw the game away, right?
Little bit, or else it would feel that way.
Hmm.
I think Pablo, all credit to him, he's adapted his coaching strategy, especially compared to last year,
Yeah.
which is fantastic to see his maturity as a manager and as a tactician. And before, I think last year's Pablo, yeah, would have parked the bus kind of said, well, that's it. We'll take the L and go. But now, this Pablo that we have this year, he's seeing down times as an opportunity to grow, an opportunity to switch things up and push back and kind of see what can work, what may work, and what doesn't work.
Right. So then my question is, and I guess I've had this one lingering for a couple of games now, and I don't think it really matters what the answer is, but I've been trying to think, is the success that's coming out of lately, everyone keeps talking about, everyone's been motivated, everyone has X Dog, Goonie, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
Is this because of Pablo's philosophy, or is this something that the players have had with them or have developed without Pablo or with Pablo? Is this a coach thing or a player thing?
I want to say it's a little bit of both because we know what Pablo has mentioned last season. Of course, going into this season, psychology. It's all about your mindset. Goals change games, obviously, and I think the players from last season to this season have kind of bought on that, and that they're like, yeah, we know what happens when we lose. We're not the greatest of teams. We've seen the past couple seasons where we're fighting literally for that last playoff spot. We don't want that anymore. Um, Today on ESPN 700, with Spence was interviewing with Pablo. He Spence asked Pablo, "What does this team remind you of?" He mentioned the 2002 USA World Cup team. How that team, they beat Portugal, if you do remember, and that
Mhm.
team had the fight, had the grind. He's like, "That's what this team kind of reminds me of. They don't back down."
I think he mentioned that. Oh, I think Pablo mentioned it only because he was part of that team, and because
Exactly.
that's been
Mhm.
Pablo's mantra for
Yeah.
his playing career and now coaching career is just dog. Because if you don't have the talent to battle with them, you just have to have the fight to put up with them.
You take a league like MLS, you have to be scrappy, you have to fight. It's what makes MLS one of the toughest leagues to play in the world. Is
Yeah,
that while it doesn't have the pure star talent that it gets attracted to in Europe and a couple of leagues in South America. Sorry, not all of South America, but certain leagues in South
yeah,
America. Um, that means every game is a fight. Every game is a chance to prove themselves. Honestly, I can't think really of a more balanced league in the world than MLS.
yeah.
Because you take a look at the teams that were good last year compared to the teams that are good this year and how it can change. And honestly, it's a the margins are negligible. So we take a look at the fight that this RSL team has. Those margins, those last minutes, European teams would have stopped playing at down 3-0 for the most part. But you
Mhm.
take a look at this RSL team that they take the last 15 minutes of the game, including stoppage time, like we're we're not backing down. We're gonna keep pushing and driving, and all of a sudden you get this tired Dallas team that's coming down off of the high of being up 3-0, and all of a sudden, again, little mistakes slip in and
Yeah.
create results. And it helps to have people like coming on like Matt Crooks, Andres Gomez, Nelson Palacio, players that are used to excelling and being the best.
Yeah.
And they, you take a look at Gomez and Palacio specifically and their initial arrival, they came from a place where they were the best. And suddenly they're in a team that's kind of meh. And
Mhm.
it kind of took them back. And all of a sudden they come on this season. They're like, why can't we be the best? Let's be the best. All of a sudden we've got this maturity in the team. We've got this vigor
Mhm.
and we're getting results that are exciting to watch, stress inducing. They're gonna cause me to go gray, and they're gonna cause Alan to lose what's left of his hair. And
Yes.
and it
Yeah.
just becomes more exciting soccer to watch. And that's going to give motivation to the fans. It's going to fill the stadium, and that energy and that momentum is going to again turn back to the team. And we should see an exciting game this Saturday.
Yeah,
Well,
for sure.
well, with the way the team's playing, obviously 30 points in 16 games. The past 2 games, the Colorado, and then this one, it's just bringing me back to 2009, 2013. Like that home field advantage, teams playing. I'm knocking on all the wood possible, but we're just playing with so much momentum. Have the camaraderie, have that teamwork, which most teams don't really have. Which what we have at this moment, which is amazing.
I did want to ask a little bit more about this Dallas game though. Um, so Diego Luna scored in the 61st minute, and he was
Yeah,
subbed off immediately. But before we get into the substitution situation,
yeah.
the I know there have been some haters with Crooks, but I think the love for Crooks has grown exponentially, especially after his hockey assist for this Diego Luna goal. That that was threaded to on Andres Gomez was ridiculous.
His vision is something that we haven't really seen as of lately for someone that big with that stretch. Just being able to see that,
He can see
beautiful.
it because he can look over everyone's head. Duh.
No, his vision is something else.
Yeah.
And let's be honest, playmakers aren't sexy. They're because it's the goal scorers who are the sexy players on the field. Those are the ones everyone's like, yes, goal scorers. But you take a look at the playmakers like Matt Crooks. Yes, he is eager for a goal. He's getting frustrated that he hasn't scored yet.
Yeah,
He's
yeah, yeah,
getting very frustrated, and I feel for him.
yeah.
But it, playmakers are so important to the
Mhm.
success of a team. You know, like Marco said, that vision, the ability to read the lanes, to read those passes, to dribble through when necessary. Some of my favorite Matt Crooks moments aren't necessarily when he's opening up those passes, but when he realizes that he can drive the ball down the field and create openings that way, then take a shot or lay it off to another player, or something that impressed me in the Seattle game when he came on field is that he was making defensive moves back to, again,
Mhm.
set a foundation, open up the play for an offensive movement down the
Yeah.
field.
Yeah, absolutely. What impressed me, moving on from that assist was the fact that we made a quadruple sub at that 62nd, 63rd minute.
Which
Having
is something we have not seen at all this season.
No, having four subs and having four subs at the same time means that there must have been something that wasn't working, or that Pablo thought we needed to change. It could have been for rest. For all we know, it could have been because, hey, we need to rest you guys for the Seattle game. And because if you look at all the people that got subbed off, three of them ended up playing in the Seattle game, two starting. Matt
Yeah,
Crooks coming as a sub on. Actually, Catrani's also subbed on, so all of them played.
yeah, yep.
Um, but the difference that those four made was absolutely tremendous, especially with Anderson Julio, a goal and
Yep.
an assist for the final two goals. Uh, do we call Pablo a genius, or does he just know his team well enough right now on when to sub certain players at certain times?
He knows his team. I wouldn't say genius by any means. He's unfortunately no Alex Ferguson or Pep Guardiola, right?
Right, right.
I
Yep.
see that playing both sides of the fandoms here.
Thank
Yeah,
Um,
you,
yeah.
thank you.
There, yep.
um, but credit is due where credit is due. Pablo has picked, he has built a good team, and he's obviously taken the time to know his players, know where they can play, and how to substitute them.
Yeah,
So all credit to him.
yeah.
No,
I think
absolutely. It
yeah,
was very, very confusing, very frustrating. Luna literally scores, and then a minute later he gets taken off. I for one, maybe wanted to see him 5, maybe 7 more minutes, but having Anderson Julio come in was definitely a better option. obviously with what he brought to the table.
Yeah, hindsight. It's a great thing. Now that we see it, we're like, oh yeah, we're glad
Yeah,
we
yeah.
did it.
That definitely makes more sense.
Um, one last point before we move on. I do want to well, we should obviously congratulate Nelson on his first RSL
Oh,
goal. Finally,
Just
finally.
the placement, top of the box, not afraid to take a whack at that.
Yeah, yeah, seriously. It was much needed for his confidence. And Christian, did you
yeah.
mention something? You mentioned like because he played so well at the Colorado game, you knew something was coming. You mentioned that I'm gonna have to clip it and put it right here. Bonk. You said something about Palacio last episode. You knew.
Clip it.
Clip it.
Be a Nelson Palacio or wait, by the way, Palacio against Colorado, that was much, much better. More of what I wanted to see.
I'll clip it. let's uh
uh,
let's move on to the Seattle game because um we could definitely talk a lot about this team, but let's get into another game. So Seattle game last night. Um Christian, what were your thoughts on so many changes to our lineup?
Oof.
necessary
Okay.
just due to, I mean, back to back to back to back to back games. You have to rotate. I think it shows that our bench is deep and it's deep enough. Now, I say that because you were correct in your prediction about seeing a lot of Seattle's regular starters because they don't play again until June 8th. So they could go ahead and start a full strength team against a tired RSL.
Mhm.
And, and honestly, kudos to the boys for doing so well and holding up against an onslaught from Seattle. I mean, you have a very bitter Albert Rusnak and you have a very bitter Musovsky
Yep.
who
Yep.
battled hard against the team. If you take a look, like they attacked a lot through the center and could not get any because they could not get anything done on the wings. Our wings were solid,
Yep.
absolutely solid last night. You know, obviously massive shout out. Honestly, I'm gonna shout out our wing backs.
All right. Oh yeah.
Oviedo, Quinton, obviously Catranes,
Yeah.
and Brody, even for the moments he was on, they all played very, very well and shut down that attacking front of the biggest threats on the wings, Jordan Morris and Christian Roldan.
Yeah.
That
Absolutely
leads me
shut down.
that leads me into a question. You mentioned that Quinton did well on the outside. Do we feel like if Quinton starts another game, he should just be on the outside instead of as a center back?
I think he does a lot better as a wing back rather than a center back for sure. We take a look at the differences between Seattle and Dallas,
Yeah.
and it's clear he is good as a wing back. And honestly, it's a to me, it is a flip of the coin for him over Brody. If
Okay.
he continues to have a good, it, but Brody stepped it up last night too. So if they both continue to perform at a high level, they both could honestly easily take turns starting.
This almost makes me want to go back to our transfer conversation that we had. Did we have that last episode? Where we talked about who
Yeah.
would we would want. I want to repose that question only because a lot of people wanted a right back. Do you think we found our depth chart within the right back position because of
All
Quentin?
all I'm saying is if Quinton is our normal right back, Hidalgo, I think you lost your job. Yeah, Hidalgo down to the Monarchs.
Yeek.
Wow, that's a I
I don't know. I don't know.
that that might be a little dramatic, but I think a faster right back would be good
Yeah,
because
yeah, that absolutely.
if we could sign a faster like level status right back,
Hmm.
someone that can drive the ball down the field and get it to Gomez. Huh. Or someone who could cross it over to Diego Luna or Chicho in the middle or to
Mhm.
Crooksey for
Yeah.
a cheeky little 20-yard goal. then then we're cooking, right?
Yeah, absolutely. In fact, I might even just be a little bit more selfish. I actually would want a left back who is over 6 foot. So that way we can literally have the Great Wall of Salt Lake.
You can't have it all. You can't have it all.
Because
Sorry.
I mean, because Vera's what 6'1", 6'2", Glad is 6'2", 6'3", something like that, and Quinton went at 6 foot. What is he at? 6'4"? I don't know.
Yeah.
That's ridiculous. But
But but looking at Seattle's lineup, like obviously they had all their star players back. Rui Diaz started this game, Morris started this game. You look at their bench, they're not really deep in their bench like we are, because the only player off their bench that they really had that was like, I guess, star power quality is Musovski. Other than that, they yeah, like that's why I say star power quality in air quotes. Other than that, it's just a bunch of young guys who just don't really bring the talent like that we see from our guys.
I,
yeah,
I don't know. I think Tolo from Seattle was actually a pretty solid defender for them last night. I know
yeah,
the
Yeah.
he
rate. It
was.
doesn't necessarily show, but he was a good matchup for Gomez. And I think that was
Yeah.
good to push Gomez as well.
Well, did you see what the what how we adapted? What our adaptation was?
Mm-hmm.
We had
Yep.
to. We had
Once,
to.
once again, just because that was fun. Whoop.
Because I did it happen like second half, like later in the second half, like when
Yep.
we started controlling the game, we're like, crap, we need to switch sides. So, and that's how he got his goal was on the left side
Yep.
too.
Mm-hmm.
Um, what did you see that you didn't like for us, and what was the change that needed to happen, or what changes do you think needed to happen?
How
It's
we
a loaded.
began the
It's
second
a
half.
loaded.
How we began the second half. It wasn't very confident. It seemed kind of sluggish and kind of, to use a Utahism, wading through jello, sort of. It's kind of, and you could tell we couldn't get the engine started. That's where Pablo's substitution pattern came into effect and made a difference. I mean, I'm pretty sure we were down at the half, right?
No,
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 it was zeros.
no, that was the 60 plus minute. That's right.
yeah,
So, but again, Seattle at home against number one in the West kept the leaders 0-0 through halftime, come out with confidence on the field. Weather on their side, they're Seattle. They love the rain,
right.
right?
Yep.
And they're on turf. And anybody who's played soccer on turf knows that soccer,
Nope.
water, turf, mm-mm.
Nope.
Not cool. Not cool.
Not cool. Not cool. But they like it because that ball is just gonna go.
Yeah. Yeah. That was horrible. Now there were a couple of substitutions that when we saw them come off, they the our players didn't like them. Mostly Anderson and Diego. Okay, what do you think about those subs
The
in in
Anderson
in
one,
the in the context of everything?
the Anderson one, I believe he picked up he was down with an injury, and then they're gonna be subbing him. He came up, he looked healthy. I would have kept him in for a little bit longer, maybe 10 minutes max. I think it was a little too early to bring in Chicho. I think Chicho was still resting, maybe I would say 70th minute bring in Chicho, but yeah, I'm with Anderson. I would have been kind of upset with Pablo.
Now,
Well, I have a prediction
okay,
as to why. It's because of Matt Crook's yellow card.
you think because of that? Okay,
Mm-hmm.
I'm
And
gonna
that's
t
gonna.
I'm gonna
And
tell you the
when
reason.
we talk about Austin, I will talk about why I think that. But go ahead.
Okay, I have the exact reason why,
No.
and this is a strategy. Um, because Anderson Julio he got put on concussion protocol, okay?
Mm,
Because he got hit in the head. So
Mm.
they thought real quick. I don't know if you guys know about this substitution rule, but the substitution rule is if you are subbed out for a concussion, it does not take up one of your substitution opportunities, which you only get 4 per game.
oh,
So this was like a free substitution. So we get 5 substitutions, but you only get 4 opportunities. So if you look at the amount of opportunities actually we got, and I apologize, not 4, it's 3 opportunities. They're 3 opportunities. So if you look at the amount of opportunities we had to use one for Chang.
yep.
Mhm.
We used one for the Luna Palacio sub, and then we used the last one for Oviedo Quinton coming out. So then that one for Anderson Julio, that was the concussion one, and that was in order to get Chicho in the game earlier in the game.
Yeah.
So that's the only reason why Anderson Julio was subbed out so early, because they had to take that opportunity.
That makes sense. Now,
Yeah.
my reasoning in substituting him out at all, though, will come back when we talk about Seattle.
Okay, perfect. I need to know. This sounds like a broken record. What were you guys' reactions the last 10, 15 minutes of the game? And I need your guys' reaction to the goal when it happened.
Well, when Musovski scored, obviously his goal that was called off for VAR. At first, I knew it was going to be called off because I saw that tug of the jersey, but I'm like,
Was it a
this is
tug?
not.
No. He totally
It was
took out Glad.
it was the push off.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was kind of frustrated. I was like, no, this can't be happening. It's not cool with two former RSL players score against us. So
That would have been so bad. When he scored that, first off, I saw the referee grab his whistle, put it to his mouth, but kept running, because I'm thinking, as a referee, you think, all right, if that's kind of an iffy call, I'm gonna let the play flow, and if it needs to be called back, it'll be called back.
yeah,
Which that sounds kind of dumb, but anyways,
no,
yeah.
but the goal gets called up because of VAR because of the push. But I was trying to keep a glimmer of hope because we saw what happened the past two games. That's all I had, just a little bit of hope.
I could say this before, Christian, before you give your thoughts. When we were down and we're down the 2-0 supposedly,
Hmm. Yeah,
I was like, ah, crap. But when they called it back, I was like, no, this can't be real. This can't be real. And like, I was thinking to myself, like, I have to think that we're gonna tie this, but no, this can't be real. Christian,
You've known me for a long time. You know I'm an eternal optimist, and when
33 years.
33 years, long time. And to me, I thought, this is a good reality check for the team. And honestly, it's still a good reality check for the team. Are we the best in the West right now? Yes. Are we untouchable? No. And I thought it'd be a great opportunity for the team to kind of get their heads out of the clouds for a minute. And I still think of it that way. It is a good reality check to say, hey, we can still be beaten. I mean, even Bayern never losing was beaten, right? By Atalanta. And
Never losing. Is that what they're calling them?
that's what they were calling them for a minute.
that's their name.
That's
Shout
funny.
out to Xavi Alonso for a great season still, but
Yeah.
and I mean, who wasn't excited for that goal? I loved how Gomez followed through. That shows so much maturity to continue to follow through because an immature striker, you know what an immature striker would have done? They would have kicked it, saw the miss, and they would have gone, ugh, and the ball would have been kicked back into play.
Yeah.
But he followed through, cleaned up Stephen Fry's fumble, and ended
Yeah.
up converting.
Beautifully placed it. Can we just talk about that free kick by Vera just to place the ball into the box? Oh my gosh!
So,
As a center back, oh
well,
my
not only does he
goodness.
have a foot, but we see Crooks getting involved again. There's the header that everyone wanted. So
Yep.
Crooks gets ahead. Chicho gets a body, lands to Gomez. Holy cow. Um, and
Head, shoulders, knees, and toes.
stop it. Stop it. That's actually that's funny. Again with the dumb jokes. Um, but I do want to make note that there were a lot of fans that showed their excitement in various forms. I know there was a watch along for another podcast. That it's crazy to think that we're now this excited. I haven't seen this much excitement with RSL in a long time, but
Mhm.
it brings the question, should we really be celebrating this hard a tie?
I think for this one, yes, because it's midweek. But the one against Dallas, I feel like yeah, we came back from 3-0, but that one it kind of feels like an upper punch. That one should have been a win. But this one makes sense to celebrate because it's midweek. Weather was crappy. You're playing on turf, so I'm like, I'll take it. I'll take it.
Hmm.
I
Christian.
think we should stay reserved and stay humble.
Okay.
This league has proven to show that even those at number one can fall. I mean, take a look at what happened to Miami.
Mhm.
Same night, another giant lost to an Atlanta team who hasn't been good for years,
Mhm.
and they
Mhm.
lost in a big fashion at home.
Yeah.
Yeah, along
Um.
along with Cincinnati too.
Yeah. I'm gonna
Eh,
be the opposite of both of you. I'm gonna celebrate these things there's no tomorrow. I was like, you guys know I was working last night, and I was watching it on my phone, and the last goal, I was yelling. I was yelling. I had to look around to make sure no one was around me, but I was yelling this goal. I'm like, after I yelled, I was like, I can't believe I'm yelling a mid-season game, midweek, to a tie to a lower level team. Like, what's
Right,
wrong with me? It's because I'm a fan.
a team that's not even in right now playoff contention.
I love this team. That's why. I'm not saying
Yeah,
that you guys don't, but I really got super involved last night.
I mean, it's fun to be involved. I think it's good to be excited.
Yeah.
Um, and we should celebrate the team because again, the team's going to feel the energy from us, and as long as they feel the energy, it's going to motivate them to keep going, even if there is a stumble along the way.
Yeah. Yeah. And I won't say this tie felt like a win. It didn't feel like a loss. It definitely felt like a tie, but it was a
yeah.
needed tie because of what all the implications, because of our unbeaten streak, because of where we are at in the table, because of how close people are. A point was needed, especially when we are down.
Oh yeah, last night everything went our way with Miami losing, with Cincinnati losing. Um, it just helps us for that potential for that race for supporter shield if that's what RSL is going for.
Why
We're,
wouldn't you?
we're going for all of it. All
We
of
want
it.
we want
It's
we
like listening to countries before the World Cup. They're like, how far do you want to make it in the World Cup? Oh, yeah, I'd like to make the quarterfinals of the world. No, you want to win the whole damn thing. Come on.
That's right. That's right. All right. Speaking
Ah,
of speaking of World Cup. Hey Christian, are you feeling all right?
Sorry, that's been a pet peeve of mine for years. Any World Cup interview of the coach, how far do you want to go? It's the World Cup. You want to win.
I just want to get to the bus. That's it. All right. Let's speaking of World Cup, but nothing to do with the World Cup. We're gonna talk about the national team, but
mm.
the Olympic side.
I was like the Olympics, not the World Cup.
Not the World Cup. But let's throw out some of our opinions about this Diego Luna snub, if you think it's a snub or not. Um I'll go first since you guys have given your opinions first for a little bit, but I won't be long, trust me. Um, I do think that this was a snub in the sense that everyone that is a fan of U.S. soccer was expecting to see Luna on the list. Um, everyone knows um, everyone knows that he plays well, period. But pointing out Carson's video and giving there's a glimmer of light there where there was miscommunications, that's the word that's used, between Luna and the coach. I think that's where I think there's more to it than what there actually probably is. So I'll let you guys give your guys' opinion. Marcos, let's start with you.
Yeah, it's absolutely, in my opinion, definitely a snub. We're seeing how much he's bringing with goal contributions for this team in goals and assists. And you look at the other players that got picked up, they're not really bringing as much as Diego has brought for their team. So definitely a big snub for the US team.
Christian.
Initial reaction, obviously, snub. At the same time, I wonder if the U.S. coach is waiting for honestly, even a little bit more consistency
Hmm.
from Diego on that end. The nice thing is he is starting to show a pattern of consistency of that self confidence and to be able to perform and realize that he can compete and
Hmm.
be a go to person on whatever team that he's on. I think part of Diego's frustration could have been the snub from the last competition he was left out of uh for the US U20s. I'm pretty sure it was.
Hmm.
And so initial reaction, snub, yes. Now Diego has the opportunity, if he wants to compete in the Olympics,
Mhm.
to show outside of the training camp,
Yeah.
outside of the Olympic training camp, that they missed out on an opportunity to call him up. That being said, we discussed this a little bit over text over the week and on obviously Carson's video, and there's more details to it that obviously we don't know.
Yeah.
And it and that but that's okay.
Yeah, and that's totally fine. Now, um, you don't need to answer this question if you don't want to, but do you think because of his lull the between February and April, um, because of his lack of performance, he mentioned mental health issues. Do you think that had anything to do with this situation, or do you think this stems from previous things that were happening with the national team?
I would say it has to do a part of it. I feel like it's been about a month. That's when Luna has started to kick it into gear. And I feel like the coach probably wants consistency. He doesn't want somebody that's all of a sudden flipping the switch 1 month later. I think he wants that throughout the whole season. So definitely has to do with a part of it for not getting selected for sure.
Hmm.
Yeah, it's a mix.
Yeah,
It's a mix for sure.
yeah. Okay. Well, the door apparently isn't closed, according to the coach. Um, People have various opinions. Some people say, yeah, it is. This is just a PR stunt. Or maybe it could be open. The list doesn't close until July. So I guess technically there's still a possibility. So with that, let's talk about this Saturday versus Austin. Um,
Woohoo!
this
Ooh.
one is our first match against Austin this year. Right? Right.
Yeah,
Yes.
correct.
Okay. Um, so let's get into what we expect and what kind of lineups or actually what absences we might have, etc. So Christian, lay it on us. What are we expecting or what are you expecting?
Obviously, the biggest miss here is Matt Crooks with that yellow card that he got against Seattle that ruled him out for this game. Excuse me. And we're going up against a very healthy Austin team.
Okay.
Very healthy. They're
Yeah.
probably the healthiest team in the league right now, to be completely honest. Which is kudos to them and their training staff.
Right.
Um, they're only missing John Gallagher, and we've got a laundry list of people that we're missing.
Yeah.
What I see here though is an opportunity for Real Salt Lake again to mix up the lineup a little bit. Now, I don't see too big of a change, but here's one thing I do see a little bit different.
Okay.
I don't see Chicho at the 9. I see Chicho starting at the 10 and Anderson Julio at the 9. You drop Chicho back, allow him to act more in that captain role
Hmm.
and be a bit more of a playmaker because he has shown that he can score goals, but he is also a good playmaker as well. So it allows him to take a more active role to be able to create those scoring chances for Gomez, for Luna, for Julio,
Okay. Now,
while still
I
influencing.
I have a question for you, and I've questioned Marcos on this one a lot too. So Marcos, I'm not picking on you. I'm going to pick on Christian too. Who are the substitutions then for our front four? If we don't have Crooks and Chang got injured last game, who are our substitutes then if we're starting both Julio and Chicho?
That's where we do run into that is our that is going to be our weakness for this
Hmm.
game. I think obviously Fidel Barajas is going to be key there.
Hmm.
Um,
And keep in
I
mind
mean,
that we do have a 2 week break after this. We don't play until the 15th. So I mean,
which is needed. Um,
so do you sub less? Do you just say, you know what, guys, go all out?
I definitely would let the guys play as much as possible, play a full 90 if they can, because you look at who we have for attack, Yakison. That's literally about it. Um, who else? Because Yakusin has been on the bench for Dallas, for Seattle. Did he get any minutes?
No.
0. So it's just like, yeah, not worth it.
I mean, but because that's where I'm worried at right now is because if we play both Julio and Chicho, we run out of firepower per se. So do we keep Chicho up top and maybe start someone below him? Do we bring in Fidel on the left and put Luna in the middle? Do we change up our formation? I think one time I think we put Ojeda at that 10 mark point and Nelly and Palacio, I think was it? I can't remember what game it was. But we did
That wouldn't be awful. But the problem we run into with that is that we don't have any midfielders to sub.
Yeah.
At least we have we have a couple droplets of depth in our striker pool,
right.
and I think that's what's going to come into play.
No, I
Yes.
would keep with having Luna Gomez. Let Luna go more minutes. Don't let I don't want to see 60, 62 minutes. I want to see Luna go 90 if possible. Just because he is trying to prove a lot. Trying to build up that resume, if you will. But going over to Austin, if you guys watched the Austin Portland game yesterday, obviously they lost at home, which is huge, 2-0. Drusy came off early in that, well, I guess early, but 60th minute with an apparent injury. The
Mm,
commentators in that game were saying he's questionable for Saturday's game against RSL.
Oh,
that's huge.
Leads their team in goals at 5. So without Drusy, that's going to be a big missing piece for their attack.
Yeah, that's actually huge, and especially with they got rid of Rigoni also.
Yep.
I
Yep.
mean, he wasn't a huge part of their attack, but he did provide some kind of depth.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
so who are the leading goal scorers for Austin right now?
You have them. You have Jadir O'Brien, Diego Rubio.
I hate Diego Rubio.
Um,
Sorry, that was really random but needed. I don't know about you guys. I hate the guy.
agreed. Agreed. Cascante.
Uh-huh. Guillermo. Yeah, they have no real top goal scorers, but what they do have are just a slew of 1 to 2 goal scorers where it's like
mhm.
anyone can take a shot at this point and score a goal.
And something that's
Speaking.
scary about Austin though is they've got a solid keeper in Struver.
Yeah. Yeah. Stuver is a very very solid
Stuver, not
keeper
Struver. Sorry.
at five shutouts on the season. So solid keeper.
And not just that not the 5 shutouts alone, but he also ranks number 1 in saves per match,
Yeah.
with a little over 4 saves. And I'm assuming those saves have to be pretty good saves.
Yeah.
But
Stat that catches my eye when it comes to Austin, they actually rank last in the whole league when it comes to shots on target per match.
Also, they have a really good defense and a really horrible offense.
So, and obviously we're, I think, 2 or 3 when it comes to shots on target per match. So that's something that we I guess we shouldn't be too worried about it at all.
I mean,
Hmm.
I don't know. I feel if we're complacent, they will take it. They will obviously take advantage of that. We we've talked about in the past couple episodes. You know, this is an easy win game. Oh yeah, this is an easy win game. Tie. It's like oh, hmm,
Yeah.
hmm. Maybe now, right before the international break, is not the time to let off the gas and be like, oh yeah, we've got this. It's more of a let's finish strong, finish on a high, so that
Mhm.
when we rest for these next couple of weeks and come back, everyone's like, oh, they're riding momentum rather than, oh, we just got beat right before the break. And now everyone's like, we're rested now. And you guys just lost. We're
Yeah.
going down.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what's kind of we need to get 3 points off of this game, especially since we're going to be off the following week, and I'm not sure about Miami and Cincinnati if they keep playing. Um,
Cincinnati's off this weekend, but Miami plays home against St. Louis.
Oh, okay. We need
Hmm.
St. Louis to help us out there.
Yeah.
Be
Um,
pink.
beat pink. Even though
Well,
all of us have pink jerseys, do we not?
well, along with the likes of we need LAFC and LA Galaxy to lose too, because with them literally riding right on our tails.
Well, that's not going to be possible. I don't think. This is a mini prediction time for the Los Angeles teams. Galaxy are playing against Chicago, and LAFC is playing against Dallas. So
Yeah, yeah.
you tell me. That's not going to be a good one for us. But Galaxy do play away. LAFC does play at home. So with that, let's get into some prediction time. All right, Mr. Trumpet Boy, you go first.
Yeah, finally back at home at America First Field. It's been a long time. Back home. It's gonna be sunny weather. Summer is here. I'm feeling confident. RSL it needs to get a solid 3 points to stay in the hunt for first place. So give me a 2-0 win for RSL.
That's solid. That's solid. Christian.
I am gonna actually agree here, especially if they're missing Jersey. If Austin's missing Jersey, who's obviously top goal scorer for them, yeah, I think 2-0 would be is a very doable
All
result.
right. That's solid. That's solid. Guys, this team has a lot of momentum. I think don't get fooled by Austin's fifth place.
Mm-mm.
I don't think that they're going to bring as much firepower as we think they have. So this one for me, we're gonna go big. We're gonna go 3-0 on this one. In fact, I'll even say goals with Chicho and Gomez at least. At least. There you go. You guys
Very
want
nice.
big? We'll go big.
Very nice. Very nice.
Um, I forgot to mention this at the very beginning, but if you guys aren't, if you guys have people that love soccer, have them listen to us because we really love soccer. Between the three of us, we have like 50 years of soccer experience, right? Does
We
that sound
old.
about right?
At
We
least,
we old.
if not more. I thought you were
Well,
gonna talk about number of jerseys because I have at least 30 in my closet
Yeah,
right now.
I was like Christian wins for biggest collection of soccer jerseys here.
yeah, you do. I think we should think Alibaba. We should. Who should we be?
Alibaba.
Who do you buy your jerseys off of?
Most of them are legit, actually. I've only got a
Oh,
Yeah,
couple from DH Gate, but
oh,
yeah.
someone's like rolling in the dough. That's fun. Marcos, send us off.
Awesome. If you guys are not already, head over to Twitter, head over to Instagram, follow us at the RSL Bros. Watch and listen to all of our fun RSL content. Listen to us on the go. Spotify, Apple, wherever you guys are doing errands on the go, and watch us right here on YouTube.
and if you see us at the games, come say hi. We might even give you a sticker.
Hey,
Catch
you guys will be at the
Christian
tailgate, right?
Christian and I will be at the tailgate pre-match, so catch us there.
Actually, I might be there too. I might bring my mini me.
Oh,
Alan will be there too. So catch all three of us at the tailgate. You guys, if you're lucky, you'll get a sticker.
Oh, feeling lucky. Okay, see you next time. Ciao, ciao.